Hit pause. You're not ready?
I hit pause. You can't go live now. It's
Oh,
paused.
okay.
It's
We're
impossible.
just frozen. Hey, welcome back to Booth Bastards. Tonight we have a very special show, another one of our interview shows. Tonight we will be talking to Janelle Powell of Badali Jewelry and discussing their exquisite, high-quality, fine, handcrafted jewelry, not the crap that comes in on a boat. And also about the background of her company and all of that kind of stuff. So let's just jump right into this thing. Of course, with me once again is Daniel. You heard him earlier.
Yeah, can't stop this. The broadcast hasn't even started. It's paused, so you can't even see what I'm saying. But in any case, we're going to keep going with the pause. And
This is entirely off the record.
It's
Yes.
off the record. So Janelle, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Again.
It's great to be back again. Yeah.
Yes.
Again.
Back for your introduction.
Woo! Now people will know who I am. They're like, oh,
Exactly.
it's that one blonde, loud girl. I see.
Yes, the rare female.
All of them. So what I don't know a lot about your role in the company. What do you do for Badali?
I run the whole, well, I shouldn't say I run the whole show, but I am pretty much the manager. I keep things going and kind of steer the boat, I guess, is the best way to describe that. One day, my dad should make me vice president. That's what I just keep telling him, but we'll see what happens. It's my father's company. He started it, well, he's been a jeweler since the 70s. About 10 that's a long time ago. 10 years ago, I started working for the business just as a shipping manager, and then my sister decided to have kids, and the managing reins basically were handed to me, and I've just kind of been pushing the last 4 years to kind of take us in a shiny direction, and it's working. So yeah, no, it's not what I thought I'd be doing, but I'm so glad I am. It's the best job I've ever had. So yeah, I used to design. I still do input, but I haven't had the chance. I don't have the time anymore to sit down and do any design work. I'm hoping eventually I can do that again. But yeah.
What's it like? Oh, sorry. Go, Jason.
I was gonna say, what is your background?
I went to school for a liberal arts degree with an emphasis in photography, not running a business. So I've been fortunate enough to make friends who have given me really fantastic business advice, one of which is here, and he's wearing lovely fezzes. I've got a decent sense of intuition, and basically have just kind of helped us rebrand ourselves, especially this last year, which has really, really helped. We basically we came online as a necessity. We got licensing. My father got licensing with Lord of the Rings about 2 years before the films came out, and we got our licensing directly with the books. And my sister, who was a theater major with an emphasis in costume design, taught herself how to make a website in the 90s. And so she started running things for him and managing things, and we just kind of grew up online because that's the way that fate just pointed us in that direction, and it was perfect. And we were fortunate enough to ride this wave of our fandom becoming our livelihood. It's kind of a surreal trip. It takes so much work and so much dedication, but I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I get to be a geek all day long and make the things that I love real. So it's kind of awesome.
What's it like working with family members? Because I know one's dysfunction can come right along with you if you have any.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's its own blessing and curse. We've been very fortunate to find a way to work with each other. I'm middle child, so I'm the problem solver naturally anyways. And so it's I've I took on HR when I was in my family, anyways. So it's worked really nice. But I mean, I'm really fortunate. I've got a great relationship with my father and my sisters, and my husband works for us, and I get to see my family every day, which is great. I love it. I couldn't imagine it any other way. I'm kind of spoiled like that, and I know it seems a little weird to see your family on a daily basis and not want to rip each other's throats out, but I mean, we're making geeky things. We're having a good time while we're at work. We're working hard, and I think it works because the family members who work for the company have a really fantastic work ethic, and want to see us succeed. We're all working for each other. We're not out to become a Fortune 500 company. We consider ourselves a success when nobody loses their job. We can give small pay raises here and there. Everybody can pay their mortgage. They've got food on the table. My friends and family have health insurance. We're a success in my book. So
yeah.
that's,
How many family members work there?
as of right now, my father, who's our head jeweler, me, my little sister's my shipping manager, and then my husband he used to be a full-time jeweler. He's a part-time jeweler now. And then my older sister works primarily from home and manages our website. That's it. We're almost starting to get outnumbered by non-family members, which is awesome. I never, ever thought we'd be in a place where we have more people working for us, and it's happening finally. It's great.
Yeah, that's I love that measure of success, and that's something that is kind of like my goal, is to measure the success based on the people around you, as opposed to comparing yourself, to some other company or some other business. But the idea of gainfully employing people that you believe in, and creating that kind of security, insurance, and a steady paycheck and things like that. That's a fantastic goal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing creativity stuff, like doing things that you love, and that's the key.
Yeah, I mean, we just, I mean, my private goal when I found out that my sister was going to have her second child and I was basically going to be running the show, was that I sat down with myself and kind of said, okay, what do you want to do with this? And I'm hoping to get my father retired one day, if he wants to. That's my whole goal, is to make it so that he can stay home if he wants to. I mean, he's in his mid-60s now, so I want to at least give him that option at some point, that if he doesn't want to come in for a day of work, he doesn't have to. So hopefully we'll get to that point. But,
so I do want to ask, what was your entry into the con life? We initially met at a very small H.P. Lovecraft show. So, and I know that wasn't your first show, but what was your introduction to cons? And also, if it's different or if it was an earlier experience for the company, what was the company's introduction to doing conventions?
It is a little bit different. Before I started, my family, basically our big license was Lord of the Rings. That's the license we had. And so one of my older sisters, who no longer works for the company, she had the idea to maybe hit like trade show conventions, licensing conventions, things like that, where people go to find companies that they then resell. It wasn't a thing for us. It wasn't very good. So we kind of got a sour taste in our mouth towards conventions. But my sister's boyfriend at the time, now husband, my oldest sister, he is a huge nerd and geek, and that's why he works with us. But he said, let's test our relationship and go to San Diego Comic-Con in 2005. And so for the test of their relationship, they went to San Diego Comic Con on a road trip, and Loria came home from that and was like, we need to be here, we need to go, this is a good thing, we should go try these conventions. And so we got in 2006, which was the last year that a newbie could really get into the show, and then 2007, I believe, was the first year it sold out. So we've been doing them non-stop since 2005 or 6, I can't remember, and just kind of picking up new ones. We also picked up Dragon Con, and just kind of went all over the place. As a kid, my dad used to make unlicensed Bajoran earrings. I don't know if you guys watched Next Gen. He used to do Bajoran earrings and stuff like that, and so we as kids we would help my dad man the booth at local small conventions. So that was our input, that a convention equals maybe 150 people, and then Loria went to San Diego and was like, no, try 100,000 people. So, but yeah, I've been doing conventions since I was a kid. The sad fact is I've never attended a convention. I've only ever worked them. I would love to attend a con one day, but I can't stop working them. So yeah.
That's really funny. We with me and my wife attended San Diego Comic Con in 2005, and we had that same exact thing. Like, we need to be here next year, and so we got a booth in 2006. Well, we got an art like a small press table, and then in 2007 we upgraded to a booth. And thank goodness we did then, because it would be impossible. We'd never have one today, I don't think. But anyway, it's funny that we have the same exact experience there.
It was that one. It was that little bit of time there. That was that window. We were so lucky to get in, because San Diego Comic Con is. I would say it's not our biggest money-making show, just because the expenses are so insanely high. It's okay, but more than that, it's our opportunity to meet face-to-face with a lot of the people that we're trying to get licensing with, and so it's really important that we have that. If we didn't have that, so many of the licenses we have we wouldn't have got, because what sold a lot of our authors was meeting us face-to-face and realizing, oh, these people who I'm meeting right now, these are the people who will have their hands on designing and making every single piece, and they actually like my work. So it's great. Cons are that place where you actually get to meet face-to-face and put a name or a face to the name and actually get a sense for somebody's personality. So, yeah.
Was the Lord of the Rings the first license you guys ever had?
Yes. My dad was making One Rings and selling them on eBay in the late 90s. Internet was still young. People knew that you could shop on eBay, but other than that, shopping online really wasn't that big of a deal. And he had somebody write him an email and say, are these licensed? And he said, what are you talking about? What's licensed? And so he made contact with Middle-earth Enterprises, and they said, we know who you are. We know that you've been selling them. How much have you made? And he was like, okay, I've got the chance now. I could, because he looked at the numbers, and it was quite a bit of money, because that was when the rumors were turning around that Peter Jackson may make a movie. He had the option of lying or telling them the truth, and so he decided, if I want to work with these people, I need to be upfront. So he told them the honest number and said, I want to pay you for this, and I want to work with you, and I want it all above board. And I think they were impressed with the fact that he was honest, and so that started our relationship with them, and they're still to this day fantastic to work with. I mean, we're at the point now where they write us an email and say, can you guys make a piece like this, or with this title, or something that's themed from Rivendell or themed from Lothlorien. And so it went from, oh, we know you're ripping us off, to we've got this really amazing, great working relationship because we decided that we wanted to be honest and tell the truth.
Wow.
And that's just, I mean, we want, above everything else, we want people to be happy with what they're buying from us. We want it to last. We want it to be beautiful. And we want to be proud of what we're putting out there in the marketplace.
Sure.
So,
awesome.
yeah.
And all of your, what I find interesting is now all of your licenses are off of literature, correct? Or are you doing?
We are primarily literature. We're actually branching out from that this year. There's a license that we already have that will be debuting at the end of April. It'll be the first license we've ever held like that of this kind, and it's really fun. It's been a blast to get it going. I can't really talk about it yet. And then we are looking at, we're right at the beginning stages of this. We're also looking at a new avenue that we've never worked with before, and I'm really excited about it. Again, we can't talk about it until we get the licensing signed, but we did have licensing with Hasbro. Oh gosh, I don't remember how long ago, with Magic the Gathering. We did make jewelry using the mana symbols. We let it go because it was one of the only companies we had that required an upfront guaranteed royalty amount, and the amount that they wanted from us kept getting larger every year because of inflation, but our sales weren't reflecting that, so we had to let it go. We were really sad about that because all of us play Magic at the shop. So maybe one day we can pick it back up, though, and revisit that. But yeah, that was the only non-literary contract we have. When we let the Magic the Gathering go, it was a point where we were kind of trying to still figure out our identity, who we were, and we finally landed on, we're the literary people. We want to be the people that an author writes a book and has something in it, and they're like, geez, I really wish Badali would make it. And that's finally happening, where we're having authors approach us, which still blows my mind away that happens. We're also, we've got licensing just barely with Wendy and Richard Piney from ElfQuest. So we're making officially licensed ElfQuest jewelry, which is really exciting. So, yeah.
That's fantastic.
What are some of the challenges with licensing? Like what if somebody's not done it before? What's something that is something to watch out for?
The main thing is if you want to do something that somebody owns the intellectual property rights to, ask. You really, I mean, depending on what you're wanting to do with it, it never hurts. Even if you're wanting to do something that's just for cosplay, it's just for you, it never hurts to ask. But if you are planning on making money off of somebody else's intellectual property, you need to get the licensing in order, not only for them, but mostly for you. Larger companies are more and more coming down on things, especially on Etsy and eBay. They're starting to crack down on it because they're seeing these avenues where people are making money off of their intellectual property that's directly taking sales away from them. But usually the biggest hurdle is who to talk to. That's usually where you need to start, is where do I start? Who do I talk to? Usually if you do a search on the entity's website, you can either find an agent or a marketing department or somebody like that. That's the best place to start, is find a contact, put a very well presented email together, introduce yourself, let them know what your intentions are, send it off and wait for a reply. Contracts they can be tricky. We're at the point now that we're finally we've got a good standardized contract, and we know what to watch for in our contract. Before signing anything, read it all. Do not sign a contract without understanding what you're signing. All of our contracts, basically, we are signing over the art that we are designing because it's based on the intellectual property of someone else's creation. And so if we were to ever lose our licenses, we do not recreate those items after the fact. They belong to the company. And so that's the way it goes with like the line that we ended with Hasbro and Magic the Gathering. We don't recreate those. The molds are kind of locked away, and our agreement was with them we had a certain amount of time to sell our inventory, and when we were done, we were done. And so we stick to that because we want to respect everybody's intellectual property. Best way I can describe it is just imagine that you make something beautiful and amazing and you put it online, and then you see somebody else selling the same exact thing, like molded and presented. How much that hurts and how angry that makes you. That's the best way to look at it as far as what's happening. So, which we have had happen, which makes me sick every time.
Yeah, I bet.
So yeah. But it's the name of the game. The internet is where people go to steal ideas.
Yeah, it's true. You know, it's funny in the in the print world. So many people do infringe on the copyrights, and the story is they all tell each other that well, we all do it, and they can't stop us. And they don't want to stop us because we're doing them a favor, and and I'm like, I don't know if that's really a great idea, but it's great to hear from someone that actually does license things, and that the importance of staying on the up and up, just for your future, future licensees, they're going to want to know that you've been on the up and up, and so you run everything above board. It's going to benefit you in the long run.
It really, really is. I mean, holding yourself with integrity as you are creating and designing is so important. You can't fake that. You can't fake honesty. You can't fake earnest desire to do something well and above board. You can't fake it. And so just don't try. just either create something completely original, tap into your brain, make something fantastic. You can be inspired by other things, but don't steal somebody else's art. It's a piece of their soul. You're basically photocopying and ripping off a chunk of somebody's heart. So don't do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that becomes more prevalent as the culture expands. So as we get more conventions and more media attention and more internet attention, I feel like it becomes also they get inundated with more fan art, and a lot of people don't understand the difference between doing fan art and just it's an idea and I'm just releasing this for kicks, and commercializing fan art. And
basically, if you're looking for where the line is as soon as money changes hands. That's if you're doing it to make money, that's when it starts going against copyright and licensing laws. And I have people tell me they think that copyright laws are stupid, and I understand it to a certain degree, because I mean, when you read a book, it becomes part of you. You internalize it. It becomes part of your imagination. So I agree about that. But the instant way to make it kind of come to light why they're in effect is, again, imagine yourself creating something and people making money off of your ideas and your creation. It hurts. It hurts not only emotionally, but it hurts financially too. And I mean, when I'm at conventions, because we, in our contract with a lot of our companies, we do state that if we ever see anybody infringing at cons, we'll report them.
Wow.
I try not to do that. um, Mostly by just kind of, I mean, we were naive once. We didn't know we were breaking any rules, and so if I can educate somebody and say, you're selling something that you shouldn't, you can get in a lot of trouble for it. It's not worth it. You can buy them officially licensed and provide your customers with a card of authenticity and not support child labor in foreign countries, then that's great. If I can educate somebody, that's great. Unfortunately, though, most people know that they're selling ripoffs and they don't care, which is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just sucks.
And it's one of those things where a lot of people will rationalize it because it's some major corporation that owns the rights to this thing, but it so quickly bleeds over to the people that it's not, that they're not a major corporation.
Right.
It's one of those things where, yeah, Hellboy was a movie, so therefore I'm infringing on a movie studio that doesn't care. And it's like, no, you're infringing on Mike. It's Mike Mignola's artwork that you're knocking off here. And,
Right.
so it's,
Yeah.
I understand there's an entire economy to the fan art and,
Mhm.
Illustrators doing Spider-Man or whatever. But to me, it's especially when you start doing production. That's where that's a hard line that I see it as. It's one thing if you are drawing a character,
Right.
somebody came up and commissioned you to draw.
Yeah.
I want you to draw this character doing this. You're being paid to do the artwork. It's another thing to hit print 200.
Right.
And then walk away from it. And it's like that's where it draws the line, especially with.
Yeah.
And what we do, and it kind of falls into the handcrafted work that you guys at Badali do is we're creating a product, and that is distinctly outside of the realm of an illustration from a licensing sense. So I constantly have to explain to people. I'm not so concerned about Disney's lawyers coming after me as I am about the lawyers for the people who paid Disney for the rights to that Grunkle Stan Fez.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you don't know who paid. That whole blow up with the Jane hat wasn't because Joss Whedon didn't want people on Etsy selling Jane hats. It's because a company actually paid for the licensing rights to produce Jane hats, and all these people were infringing on what they just paid for.
Yeah. And I think that's probably how a lot of this is going to come down, I think, too. I mean, for now, yeah, you can make prints of Spider-Man and probably not get in trouble. But if I go and get a license to make Spider-Man stuff, I'll be pissed. I'll be pissed if I have to pay for it and they don't. So, yeah. I think that's probably how a lot of that will come down.
Yeah, well, and I mean, especially in the instance of people like me that make a licensed product, you can justify saying that you're sticking it to the big corporation as far as like Warner Brothers goes. But what about the small booth that is a reseller of officially licensed stuff? They actually took the time to find companies that make things officially, so that they're above board. You're stealing from them, who is your neighbor. And it's not that hard. It's really not that hard to find officially licensed stuff to resell if you're a reseller. It can be more expensive, and that's where it comes down to. So integrity matters, though. At least I think so.
Well, yeah, it's something that I think it pays out in the end.
Yeah.
And it also helps you as a creative person. I feel that can also be very beneficial because it helps defend your creativity. It keeps you from sacrificing the integrity, the creative integrity of what you're doing, and then just going, well, okay, I can make money doing this, and that in my mind that's selling out. That is,
Yeah.
that is the definition of selling out. You're selling out your artistic integrity by just slapping some stuff that you know is going to be commercially sound, and you didn't do the legwork, you didn't do the
Yeah.
creative, aspect to it. You're just capitalizing on it.
Yeah, I mean, we have people walk up during conventions all the time and ask us if we carry the Even Star from the Lord of the Rings, which is something that was just created for the films. And we say no. You can get it from the WB shop. You can get it from Weta's website online. And they're like, well, why don't you guys just make one? And it's like, because they make it. And they make it so well. Why would you want us to make? They make it so well. Buy it from them. So, yeah.
Trying to think, shift gears here and get off the.
Get off the license thing.
The damn
We have a lot of fun.
train.
Well, it's just one of those things where you're like, the whole patent and copyright law thing is broken, and yet at the same time, the bootleg market is breaking things, and it undermines. In my opinion, it undermines conventions in general.
It's actually there's a huge liability on the sake of the con that's putting the convention on, because it hasn't taken root yet, but there is a little bit of a tendency that these large license holders are going for basically after the convention, saying you're allowing people to sell illegal replicas, and you're making money off them making money that we're not making money. And I mean, yeah, so it can be messy. A lot more conventions, I think, are vetting. They're really watching their vendors. So that's another reason why you shouldn't sell illegal replicas. You can be kicked off a con floor for selling something that's unlicensed. So
it's in almost all the contracts. Yeah, it's in the contracts. You sell bootleg wear.
It is.
It's in every show I do.
Yeah.
It does seem like we're starting to see some of that, get shut down, and more attention paid to that sort of thing. And I think we're going to continue to see that in the bigger shows where they'll start, where they vet the the potential exhibitors, and it's just, it's one of those things where, like, are you in it for this month, or are you in it to build your art and build your company? And I think in the long-term scenario, just going after the cash grabs are not going to pay out.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is you can find so many wonderful licensed companies to work with that offer drop shipping. It's something that we do. Our wholesale customers don't even have to carry a physical inventory of our product online. They can just place an order with us. We'll fill it, ship it directly to their customer, put their information in it. There's nothing that says that that looks like they bought it from us directly. It all looks like it came from the person who has the account. There are really great ways that you can stay above board selling licensed items that actually will cost you so little out of pocket. It just takes doing your homework. So, yeah. But anyways, we love making quality stuff. I mean, with the illegal replicas and stuff, there you can tell there's a difference in quality. And I honestly, I used to sweat it years ago, because every single sell was the possibility of my business being shut down. I mean, we almost didn't last after 2008. It was fighting tooth and nail to make it. So every time I saw something that was illegal selling, it was a knife to the gut, because it's taking food out of my family's mouth. But now I don't sweat it as much, because I need to not focus on the negative feelings that can bring up, and focus on the positive stuff of making really, really high quality stuff that the person who did come to us, they can be happy with what they're walking away with. And that's more important to me, is the people that I am giving product to stay happy. I want them to come back and tell people that they like what we do and that we're okay people, and yeah.
How long does it take from beginning to end to design and make a piece? I don't mean like the physical, like you're pouring it, but like the design part and getting to the point where you have a finished product. How much time does that take?
It totally depends on the individual item, and we use whatever tools and techniques will help us best to create the item. For example, this piece, which is it's Elisar, the elf stone. This is something that only appears in the Lord of the Rings books. It's actually, I personally think it's what the Evenstar was inspired by. It's a brooch that's given to Aragorn by Galadriel when they're in Lothlorien. And this was sculpted 100% by hand by my husband. This is such bad quality. I'm sorry, you guys. But, I mean, there's individual feather texture on every single feather.
Wow.
That piece took him months to do because, I mean, we have to do it on top of our normal production schedule. But between designing it on paper and then hand sculpting it and then making sure that the stones fit and having the custom stones cut, it was months of creation to make that one piece. And then pieces such as, let's see, a lot of our stuff is made by hand. This piece, which is from ElfQuest, it's the Warp Wolf, which is Wendy and Richard Pine's main logo. The initial shape of this was cut using a wax mill cutter. So my wonderful jeweler Hillary will sit there and create a flat 2D model in a computer program. Our wax mill will cut it, and then once it's cut, we go in and do all this hand texturing for the background and the back of the piece. That's all done by hand. And so we use whatever tools will help us get there. This piece took a couple weeks, so it just depends on the level of complexity of the piece, and if making it by hand will create a better product, or making it very geometric things, the wax mill helps us greatly. Like this is our Harry Dresden pentacle necklace. Symmetry was very important, so having that cut by a machine, of course, was so much easier. But then we have a human being go in and make it better. I guess is the better way to do that. We really there's a soul that is added to a piece that has human hands work on it that you don't see from things that are like 3D printed 100% and never see a physical hand touch on it.
Tell me that Jim Butcher is a nice guy.
He is the nicest guy.
Yes.
Oh, and hilarious and nice. Yeah, we've had the opportunity. We were very fortunate that we had multiple signings with him last year, and so I got to get to know him a little bit. But nicest, funniest man in the world. So yeah, all of the authors we have are fantastic and just amazing and kind, and it's kind of, I think, jaded me towards all authors. I have this idea in my head that all authors are the nicest people on the planet. People have told me that's not true, but every author that we've worked with, and the Piney, I don't know, is it Pines or Piney?
Piney?
Peony? That's how I say it in my head.
Peony's how I always say it in my head.
And Richard, Wendy and Richard are really nice people. So, yeah, we've been very fortunate to work with kind, creative people who are really into that's why we got the license. They're into what we do. We're into what they do. It's this great bounce back and forth of creativity and collaboration, and our authors are as hands-on as they want to be or hands-off as they want to be. Patrick Rothfuss is very hands-on with the designs. And then people like Brandon Sanderson, he's like, you guys are the jewelers, so make it, show it to me, and I'll tell you if it's good or bad. And so we love the hands-on, though. We love the feedback, because that means we're making sure their artistic integrity is there as well as ours.
Awesome.
Yeah. I have a fun job. It's hard, but it's fun.
So how many shows do you typically do in a year?
This year is going to be an astronomical number. Let's see, this year we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, possibly 10 this year, which is a huge amount for us. Normally we do about 6, but this year there are 10 that we really, really want to do. So I'm hoping eventually I can get a staff trained to take over conventions for me, because as things are right now, I do every single con. You guys get that, you do every con that you do. But yeah, so 6 this year. I have no summer. June is my summer, and that's it. How many are you guys doing?
I did 13 last year, and I think we'll probably come pretty close to that again this year. Last year was a lot of last year the goal was to sign up for as many as we could squeeze in, just to try to figure out where the limit is, like where the ceiling was, and then also get a chance to try out a bunch of different cons so that we know what to look for, what to watch out for. So I knew going in that we were going to do like 13 shows and probably cut half of them. And we did, actually. I think we cut nearly half, about half of what we did last year. We cut off of our schedule. But we're already adding new shows that we're looking for new shows this year. Because it's always, like, my goal when I started was to try to find 6 shows that I can be really excited about. Like, these are the 6 shows I can't wait to go to. And that'll take time. And of course, everything has an age to it. So there's shows that I was very excited for that I'm no longer excited about. So it's that's going to happen. Shows are going to kind of peak and drop, and other shows will pop up. But yeah, so I'm right now I'm looking at 10 to 13 shows.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we're about the same. I think 13 or 14. But we've kind of kept around the same number of shows we do every year. But then I realized we're doing, out of those shows, that equals about 30 10x10 booths. And so, because some of these shows have 4 booths in them, so that's a big show. And so I had to go back and go, why am I feeling so stressed out, or why am I working so hard? And I, just a few years ago, that 30 booths was more like 15. So. Anyway, we've tried to grow the shows that we do really well at. Instead of adding lots more shows, we're just trying to do those shows bigger, and see if we can, capitalize off of those more. So yeah. Anyway, I don't really believe in the what's the score, how many? Because it's funny. I'll meet some guy and he'll go, how many do you do? And I'm like, 14. He's like, I do 40. And you're like, okay, whatever.
Well, I mean, that really comes down to, like, what do you do? I mean, right. There's so many different experiences to have at a convention. If we have a really big show, the panic for me starts after I get back from that really big show, because now I have nothing left on my website, or I'm not prepared for my next show, because we make our stuff. We don't just have more of it, waiting. It's not hit, Xerox, or, and it's not just signing up commissions. It's, I have to plan ahead and build for the shows. So, everyone's experience is, is going to be different. And for me to do 13 shows is different, for someone else to do 26 shows.
Yeah, it's even
Probably
different.
true.
You doing 13 shows is even different than me doing 13 shows, because I physically don't make every single piece of jewelry. You make every single fez. And so... that's the one thing I want to just be like, con etiquette should be, don't ever insult a vendor because you don't know if they are making it by hand. And that is a huge slap in the face when you come up to somebody and say, this isn't worth it. And you just want to show them your hands and show them scarred and bleeding and be like, really? This isn't worth it?
Right.
Yeah, for my jewelers that do the cons for me, their first few cons, and my first few cons, it took definitely growing a thicker skin, because people are used to walking up to a booth and being like, this is crap, and walking away and it not being that big of a deal. But when somebody says that to you and you've literally bled over what you've done, it takes it to a whole new level of hurt. So
yeah, you're not just the person that works at Walmart, right? This is your company, so it is a totally different thing.
But a lot of people walking the floor have that mentality of, I can buy that on eBay for half that price. Or, it's the same thing I saw at Walmart. You just, I know how your business works. This is how you guys do it. You buy those rings from China, and you just put a little bag on them. And it's like, there's always someone who thinks they know what is going on, and they want to, impose their view of the world.
Yeah, when we first started up, it was really, really, really difficult because companies like us were really not heard of. They were local brick and mortar shops that people went to, and you only know them locally. When the internet started popping up, Etsy has been one of the better things as far as a craftsman, helping people understand why the price tag isn't the same as something at Walmart, because it's not made the same way, it's not treated the same way. One thing that's really helped us is we actually made a short video that we have embedded on our website that shows the beginning to end process of making just one ring. And it really helps people because they're like, I understand you a little bit better. I understand now. This isn't the same thing. This is something special. And helping people understand that was the biggest hurdle to get over. Was it's not just what you're seeing. It's a whole lot more. And so we've kind of started a trend of showing that video while we're at conventions. And number one, people love it because they're learning about us. They're being informed a little bit, and it's cool to see metal get melted down and turn into a ring. And it helps them identify that we're not just some faceless company. So it's been good.
Yeah, that does make. It's one of those things where just in a modern world, people forget that there is craftsmanship still, and they forget how to appreciate it. And that's not to say that everyone's like that. I mean, obviously we find our audience, but it is one of the noticeable things that you will have if you bring your crafts to the public at a convention. You will see those people. They will be there. They will comment. They won't be everybody. They won't be the majority, hopefully. Although there have been a few shows where they were the majority. But
and I mean, try to take a positive spin on it. If you're doing this yourself now and you're trying to go to cons and you're trying to get that and you're getting some negative feedback, try not to have your feelings too crushed, and use it as an opportunity to educate someone. Try to put a positive spin on it. It's tough to do. It's really tough to do sometimes, especially at cons, because we've all had that person who knows the answer to the universe and the answer to why we suck. And you're not going to get across to everybody, but you never know. You could have somebody at your booth who just don't understand what they're looking at, and the second that you give them the time to educate them about what you do and how it's done, you may have just made a lifelong customer.
Yeah, and that goes back to something that Daniel and I have talked about before on this show, which is you're trying to nurture a clientele, these patrons that want to support your development as an artist, and part of that is communication and being able to share your experience and share what you do with somebody on a personal level. And you're right, that could totally start out as an adversarial relationship, and it really depends on how you respond to it. That initial response makes a huge difference. I remember we were at a show. It was a smaller show. It was one of those shows where there was more negatives than positives, and we had someone walk up and ask. I can't remember what it was. It was pretty specific, like a video game or.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like somebody like, "Oh, do you have something from this video game or whatever?" And I'm like, "No, we only do original stuff. We try to honor people's the intellectual property. We're not going to infringe on somebody else's." And their response was, "Oh, you mean you do it the correct way?" Like they were totally taken aback, but they responded brilliantly, which was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you actually honor that stuff? Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah.
Here, I want to buy something." Like they responded positively to the engagement instead of instead of being crass. We've gotten crass responses. I've gotten the well, you can do it for me. I'm not going to tell anybody, but you never know. And those moments when it does work out the correct way, that's a huge reward.
Yeah, I'm sure we all have lovely stories of people asking us to do things that are not legal or something that we don't feel comfortable with as far as a business sense, and the reaction is so abrupt, it's comical. I've had people tell me that I'm ruining their wife's wedding because they promised them a custom Elvish wedding band from us, which we don't do because the Tolkien family has asked us not to. And he had fun ripping into me, and I was just, all I could do was say, "I'm sorry, you should have asked before you promised the ring to her."
Just maybe.
I mean, don't get mad when people want to, honor somebody else's intellectual property. Please don't get mad at us.
Stupid rules.
Yeah, why can't you be cool?
Because I'm too old for that now.
Yay.
I've been working the con circuit for too long. You people have worn me down. No, I'm just kidding. Oh. Yeah,
too
it's
old
crazy
to be cool.
think about. I have been, when I started doing conventions, I was 22. I'm going to be 33 this year.
You're a child.
Child.
Infant. Damn you.
Wait until you're bitter and old like Daniel and I.
That's why I want to train younger, happier people to take over my position.
Yes.
All the younger people I work with are more bitter and angry than I am.
Oh.
That's why we fly Paige in.
Oh, I love Paige. Oh, man.
She will be at Emerald City.
Yay! So, yeah, we make cool stuff. We try to do it above board. We want to make people happy. We hopefully don't offend anyone. If we do, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I've been a jerk at some point.
Just
I
to
get
elves.
tired. Huh?
Just to elves.
Just elves.
Yes, the cultural appropriation of elves.
They're pissed about that.
They are. We make them make our shoes.
Right. That's okay. They're not long for this world
guys.
anyway.
I'm tired.
No, it's late. Well, thank you so much for joining us and give Daniel an opportunity to find out what it is, the hell that you do.
Yes, it's awesome.
We've been working. Fezarama has been working with Badali Jewelry for a number of years now.
Yeah,
and,
it was San Pedro H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival that we met.
Yes.
I want to say 2008.
No, it couldn't be that long ago, is it?
It was a long time ago because we haven't done San Pedro for like 3 years now.
Wow.
And it was like
2009, somewhere around there.
Okay, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Holy crub.
Yes. Well, that's one of my favorite parts about doing the conventions, is getting to meet other artists, and we've kind of developed these relationships with with these people all over the country, and become really good friends and really important support groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can honestly say that the reason that we have survived so many flips and flops with the economy is because of making friends with people like you guys. The con community that is friendly and makes friendships is also very giving with knowledge, and it has made all the difference in our company, and I'm just so grateful to you guys for helping me, who's not a business person at all. One of the best things that ever had happened to me was a dear friend of mine now named Lee Moyner came up to me and told me everything that was wrong with my banner. And it was awful. Jason can confirm our banner, our signage. It was awful. We had no idea what our personality was as far as branding, but thanks to Lee and his lovely lady Venetia, last year we hit rebranding hard and figured out our identity, and people have been so generous with their knowledge to us, and so thank you everybody who's ever helped me. And please, if you're ever at a con and I'm there and you've got a question that you feel like I could maybe shed some light on, please approach me, ask me. If I can return the favor in any small way, I owe a lot to people just being kind, so I want to put some of that kindness back out there. So please ask me.
Absolutely. Well, we're at our hour, so
okay.
Yes, we can wrap this up now.
All right.
So thank you so much for being on the show again, Janelle. It was great getting to learn more about the history of Badali jewelry, and I'm really excited. Look forward to finding out what it is that you were teasing that we don't get to find out about in the coming months.
I'm excited to announce it. So. Oh, yeah.
So for all those people out there who want to find you, where are the best places to find you on the internets?
Best places on the internet is badalijewelry.com. How you spell Badali is B-A-D-A-L-I, then the American spelling of jewelry, not the British, with the extra E, .com. That's us. Also, if you can't remember that, just type in King Killer Chronicle Jewelry or Patrick Rothfuss Jewelry. We'll pull right up.
Cool, and we'll have the link, of course, in the show notes on this video. And you're also Badali Jewelry on the Twitter?
We are Badali Jewelry on the Twitter and the Instagram and the Facebook. We are finally social media savvy-ish. So yes, we're all over the place on the social media stuff. So come follow us. We release coupon codes. That's the first place that we debut new items. So follow our social media stuff. And
you'll be at Emerald City Comic Con at the end of March.
Correct.
We will. WonderCon at the beginning of April.
And if you need to find us, just go to Fezzarama, because we're stalkers and we'll be next to them every time.
Right next to us at both of those shows.
Yes.
Well, thank you again. And Daniel, where do the people find you on the interwebs?
As usual, you can find us at steamcrow.com, and Google Steamcrow. You can find us on any number of social networks here or there. I often give bad game mastering advice. And again, Janelle, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I look forward to seeing you in person at Emerald City. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for the opportunity to talk to you and I don't know, ramble incessantly for a long time.
Well, of course, we'll get you back on for our next panel show. We'll try to get you back on for our other panels where we can actually really go off topic.
That's right.
Anytime.
And Jason, where are you on the internet right now?
Right now, you can find me. Of course, the website is fezzarama.com with dashes, without dashes, doesn't matter. We grabbed them both. You can find me as Fezmonger on the Twitter and the Instagram. Fezorama is on the Google Plus, the Facebook, and the Twitter also. And of course, you can find the Booth Bastards on Google Plus and on our YouTube page. Thank you so much for watching the shows. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any comments, any limericks or haikus, post them in the little section below that we try to avoid reading because it's all angry. We'll actually know about it because we get emails. Again, thank you so much for watching this stuff. We will be back next week. We're going to do another interview show before we get caught up in all of the cons at the end of March and beginning of April. So our schedule will still be pushing for those 3 shows a month, but the gaps will become kind of sporadic as we're dodging shows here and there. So again, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week on Wednesday.
Bye.
Goodbye, guys.